my son took me to drinking, every weekend with my friends, to the point where that's all I wanted to do was party. I was hiding bottles in the house and things like that. And my husband said, you know what, if you don't quit drinking, we're going to get a divorce. I'm not going to go out and party. This is not what I want for my life. At this point, we have a 2-year-old daughter. And I made the decision, you know what, then I don't need you. And I left with our daughter. And he saw me partying every weekend. He saw, he was concerned. This is the woman raising my child. I don't know if I want her raising my daughter this way in this lifestyle. So he took me to court and wanted custody. Right now I don't blame him. At the time I believed, I can't lose my child. I will straighten up. I will quit drinking. I will quit partying. I will take care of my daughter. And I prayed. I remember one night just sitting in the rocking chair holding her. All of a sudden now I'm scared. And I'm going, God, please don't take my child away. Please help me to be a better mother. Please just get me out of this mess I've gotten myself into. And I'll do better. I promise I'll do better. And God answered my prayer. And we talked, and he ended up dropping the custody suit, and I got to keep my child. And I straightened up for about a year. Went to school, became a medical assistant, got a job at a hospital, and was doing pretty good. Met another boy. He kind of liked to drink on the weekends and stuff. I thought, I'm just doing it a little bit. Right back into it. Destroyed that relationship. Got out of that one, got really depressed. Every time I would get into trouble, I would stop drinking, I would stop doing whatever it was I was doing. I would stop partying, and I would start going to church with my parents. I would pray. I would, God, please help me out of this. Every time he did. But it was like I didn't realize that he was the one getting me out of it. All I thought was like, okay, everything's okay now. Thanks, God. You don't have to do anything. I got it now. I'm good. I took care of the situation, and I didn't. He heard me every time, repeatedly, over and over, but I just kept getting myself into deeper and deeper messes. As I was thinking about which parts of my story to share today and stuff, I can go on and on and on to do that to you. But I just want you to understand that the pattern that was going on, I think I'm okay. I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm just going to be a good person, but I was trying to be a good person by myself. Finally, I got to the point I got sick, and the doctors prescribed some pain pills, and I was like, I don't need to drink anymore. These are cool. I like the way these make me feel. Only they didn't stop with just those. Pretty soon they had to add some muscle relaxers. Then they were adding anxiety pills. And then I was on so many CNS depressants, central nervous system depressants, that I was really depressed. So it was that some antidepressants. And it just grew to the point where I was taking like $2,500 a month in medications. I am not lying. I had 2 drawers full of pills. And whenever I would go to the doctor, I'm not feeling very good anymore. Well, here, you need this now. In fact, at one point, my blood pressure was so low I could barely get out of bed. And because of all of the medications that I was on, they said, well, we need to raise that up. Instead of taking me off meds, they added speed. They added Ritalin. Like that's going to chemically balance me out or something. And I didn't realize that I was addicted, that it was completely changing my personality. It was changing what kind of a mother I was to my children. I got to the point where I couldn't work anymore. I was not me, I guarantee you that. The personality, the Monica that God had created, the personality He had created me to have did not exist anymore. I OD'd on. As I graduated, you build up tolerances, especially to pain pills and narcotics. And I built up to tolerance to all the way through the really higher dose ones. So I got to methadone, which is typically used to help people off of heroin. But I was taking it for pain because I built up a tolerance to all these other pills. And I OD'd on it. It's very dangerous. I overdosed on it twice. once ended up in the hospital. And I didn't mean to. I hadn't done it on purpose. I just forgot I had taken 6 of them. I was only supposed to take 2. I forgot I had taken 6 of them because if 2 is good, 10 is better, right? And took some more. My husband comes home from work, and he finds his wife passed out, barely breathing, grabs her, and I vaguely remember him. He's in the shower. Wasn't a Christian man. Had never prayed a day in his life. And he turns on the cold water, and he's holding me in his arms. And I kind of open my eyes, and he's rocking back and forth. He's holding me. He's trying to get the cold water to help revive me. And he's praying to God, please don't let her die. God, please don't let her die. I'll do anything you want. Just please don't let her die. God heard him. And God apparently still had a plan for my life. So I woke up. He got me to the hospital. I was there for a couple of days. Went into the doctors, and they're like, why'd you OD? I'm like, you need to. And they're like, shame on you. Okay, here's your new prescription. Go home. I was like, wow. I did it. And, well, like I said, this was changing my personality. And the reason that drugs, the way they affect our brains, whether they're street drugs, even some prescriptions, narcotics especially, they change our judgment. They affect the way we process information. They affect the neurotransmitters in our brain. If you don't have your judgment, if you don't have your moods, if you're not feeling happy, sad, scared, guilty, what are you going to do? How is that going to affect your behavior? You're going to do things that a sober person would never do. Well, the drugged up high Monica did some pretty illegal things. And it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me because it saved my life. I was getting to the point where I couldn't afford to buy prescriptions. That I had to buy more than what I was being prescribed because I was so addicted. Not I didn't have to. I felt like I had to. And I ended up writing a bunch of bad checks and getting us into like huge debt. Eventually, I'm juggling things and like not using any type of reason or logic to how I was trying to solve my problems, because if I got stressed out or felt guilty, just popped in my pills. Everything was okay. Eventually caught up with me when Brianna was 8 years old. The police showed up at my house, put a pair of shiny bracelets on me, and put me in the back of the car and took me to jail. And I got to sit in Ada County Jail and crash off of methadone.
Wow.
Not fun. I don't even remember all of it. I do remember some really, really nice inmates in there, like making me hot lemonade and telling me, maybe you should take a shower. It's like 50 showers a day. I'm doing whatever. I'm pacing. I feel like I'm going to crawl out of my skin. After about 3 days, I think the officers figured out what was going on and got me over to medical, and they got me on some detox meds. And I'm freaking out, though. As soon as I sobered up, it took 7 to 10 days. I sober up with my kids. What am I going to do with my kids? What's happening to them? Where are they? Are they safe? Brianna's dad came and got her from California, took her down there. My oldest daughter, Becca's dad, came and took her, and I can't get a hold of anybody on the phone. I don't know what's going on. And one of the things that they did at County Jail, a lot of volunteers like to come in to do 12-step meetings and Bible studies. And I remember going to the Bible studies and going, yeah, I know all this stuff, but I really need some help. And they're like, well, we prayed about it. Well, yeah, but, God's not doing what I told him to. He's not fixing it the way I said. And they were like, you got to turn it over to him. Let's talk to you about the 12 steps, Monica. And I'm like, I don't need 12 steps. I need help right now. I just had the most huge ego. Like, I knew everything. I'd gotten myself into this mess. I'd been driving the bus, and this is where it ended up. But I had a hard time listening. But they decided, they took me into court, and they said, this is the woman. Monica used to be a good person. But I had a bunch of ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands show up and write letters, and they were like, you don't like this. This is what she's done to me. This is what she's done to me. This how she's taking care of her kids. I walked out of there, I didn't even like me. I mean, I didn't realize how many people I'd been hurting. I didn't realize the damage I had done to almost every single relationship in my life. And so the judge said, you know what, I'm going to give you 5 years, but I'm going to send you on a rider. Well, a rider program means you go do 6 months of treatment, and if you do good and you follow the rules and you keep your t-shirt tucked in and wear socks to breakfast, you get to get out after 6 months. So I did that. I followed as many rules as I possibly could, except the ones I thought that was stupid, and got out. And my stepmom had packed some of my stuff. I go into my room, I start unpacking it, and guess what's sitting right there? Brand new bottle of prescription. And I thought, you know what? I got 6 months now. I'm getting my life together. I am having some trouble sleeping. It won't hurt just to have one. I know she didn't do it on purpose. She didn't know we were in there. And nobody will know it. It's a prescription. It's legal, right? And so I took one Ambien, and a 30-day supply was gone in about 10 days. And as soon as I started taking those prescriptions again, I went right back to my old behaviors, and I ended up, my PO came over, caught me high out of my mind, took me in for a UA, and said, you're going to prison. And well, I'd already been, through jail and all that stuff, so it wasn't quite as scary, but I realized as it started sinking in and I started sobering up again, because once you relapse one time, you're right back where you started. It's not like you could do a little bit. You go right back to the really bad place in the addiction. So I get to prison, and I'm sitting there. I don't know what's going on with my girls again. It's hard to call out. Expensive. And I saved up. I remember, you're not supposed to barter. You're not supposed to trade your commissary or things with people, but I was desperate. I wanted to try and get a hold of my oldest daughter. So I did this girl's chores for like a month. I gave her everything I bought off commissary, whatever I could do. It was saving up for Valentine's Day. I was going to call my daughter and get to talk to her for 10 minutes. I get her on the phone, and she starts yelling at me, Mom, how could you do this to me? How could you go back to jail? I didn't know it at the time, but she was high. When she got to her dad didn't pay much attention to her, and she started hanging out with kids at school, started doing drugs, and she's 16 years old, and she was high. And she said, Mom, you've been this way your whole life, and you're never going to change. I was crushed. Of all the things people had been trying to tell me in classes about environment,